Well, hello, Kingsman. Welcome back to the Napoleonic battlefield. Today, if you haven't noticed, which actually you wouldn't, I'm doing another cinematic replay. Now, this one was from a stream, which is the only reason I'm doing this, because I know what happens. So I don't have to keep an eye on a mini-map or have cards. Some of you guys really enjoyed those, said it was very cinematic, and I'll keep, every once in a while, one from one of my streams I'll do in a cinematic mode, so that, or screenshot mode it's called. So you guys can appreciate how grand, how epic this battle looks, but also, get appreciation for still the strategy involved. Now, this is, like I said, from my stream of 4v4. I am playing as Russia 9 in this one, so I'm back here marching up to the front. Look at the glorious Russians. Oh, look at them. Just gonna steamroll. No, just kidding. I had some good builds, I would say, for this. I don't think I brought any of the elite guard. I brought some Prussians, some line infantry. Now that I have a new schedule, I'm going to be making a video on Russia 9, what I liked about it, what I didn't, what I kind of did build-wise, what I found worked best. I have some artillery as well. Skirmishers, of course, I brought some heavies. I do believe one Lancer and then a Dragoon unit, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it's 2 Dragoon units. No, I think just the 3 cav. Of course, we also do have a Prussia way over here, as well as HRE. So HRE is right here, and then Prussia is up front, holding this LOC. And man, Prussia is a beautiful faction, in my opinion. Don't get enough credit sometimes. Look at these guys. I did believe he took that LOC. He's going to be pushing up to secure maybe some high ground here. I think this is Lotus playing. Yeah, as the it looks like he had some hussars and some heavies, as well as some light infantry. That's some grenadiers. Looks like some Austrian grenadiers of the sort. Skirmishers. Yeah. So we are going against the French, of course. We do see some French cav already, and they are charging straight through the trees here. Don't know if he's going to make it. Nope. He is going to fall back, as that cav fell back as well. The French, of course, are marching up on this way. We had noticed a general way over here, so we're going to assume there's going to be a French army rolling up this road as well. This is Ryan. He's playing as Sweden, and he's going to hold this LOC for us until the bitter end. At least that was the plan. Of course, plans do change, but he has quite a lot of infantry, pretty good squarables. I think these are like his lifeguard or whatever they're called. Look at the red pants, the gold trim. Very nice looking. Yeah, so I think the first real contact was on this side. So I'm going to try to keep myself over there. Prussia is pushing up with some light infantry. I believe these are squarables, so he's going to try to establish a front, as there is some enemy cav being sighted. This is going to keep me on my toes, guys, because, I mean, this was a couple weeks ago at least since this game, so I'm trying to remember it. But I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it to see the epicness. All right, we got some cav from France making their appearance. We've got some dragoons, just with all black horses, just look amazing. Such a large unit of them. Wow. And Prussia in the foreground, they're gonna be making a stand here. I think this was Austria. I feel really bad if it's like HRE. I can't remember now. I think it's HRE, actually. Yeah, this is HRE, not Austria. So very chunky units. And also, I think his cavalry is pushing up to the front, so we're going to see some reinforcing cavalry. We do have our first cav charge here. He has some light scouting up, and this Chasseur Cheval is trying to chase him down. Good luck running through the forest. I mean, they may catch him. Who knows? This cav's gonna see what the French army is doing. Although, I mean, they're right here and they're rolling down. And the slope, guys, is in favor of the French at this point. I mean, Prussia has their work cut out for them. Here comes the cavalry. I think this is some of my cav, as well as I was gonna take a while to march across this field. But here comes some of my cavalry, as well as some of the Swedish cav. Yeah, I got some lancers, got my dragoons. I think I'm saving my heavies in the back because you don't want to throw those away without, you know, a real fight. We do see the French army, the first of the line infantry here. Artillery firing. So they're really going to start chewing up the Swedish if they, you know, get in range and find them. But yeah, look at these French troops just lined up, ready to go. I really don't know what's happening here, but this cav is, wait, where is that cav? Is it right here? Yeah, this cav is hidden scouting the French line, which is made its appearance here. Ooh, some chunky units. Actually, Bavarians are mixed in here. The thing about Bavarians, unless they brought like the top tier units, then it's not going to be very good line infantry. Now you can see we have some of the Imperial Guard within this line, some Voltigeurs, possibly some of the Old Guard. This looks like to be Old Guard. Artillery from Prussia firing, taking out some of the Dragoons. Yeah, Prussia has some skirmishers ready to fire. He's gonna have to hold as best he can here. Now you do see the French line still advancing here. Forming up. We got maybe we got some archer cav. Oh, that's right. There was like an Ottoman faction, Mamluk faction, something like that. But yeah, he's gonna chase him off, and that's that. My Lancers getting fired at by artillery. We are still forming up here. As right now, nothing. We're trying to figure out, I think, our strategy on this side. This is obviously going to be Prussia getting hit very hard, as you can see. Pouring in some volleys. He has line infantry dropping. Quite a few of the French getting a chance to fire. We got some cav possibly about to do a glorious charge. Let's get in on this. Ooh, a couple of them getting shot. And they are going into the Prussian line. Oh boy, so they hit a square. Some line infantry in the back. There's some Prussian Grenadier unit that was able to receive that charge, sort of. France is now massing up here. Still nothing over here. France is just madly pushing here. Ready to end Prussia. Artillery still firing. This battle is coming under full swing. As they're pushed up, looks like they got a mixture of light infantry, some French line infantry, some French light infantry, and the Imperial Guard in this fight. Prussia holding as best they can with their line infantry. The roll of musket fire is actually quite loud. Prussia is advancing here on the flank. I think he is having an opportunity to overwhelm this French line that's trying to attack here. We are pushing up cav, trying to support this right flank of Prussia. I mean, there's a lot of French cav massing up on this side. Those stupid, I hated them so much. The archers, mounted archers, so annoying. He did a good job of harassing us with that. Now we are starting to see the French cavalry forming up here. So some dragoons. So now we're like, okay, well, great. We got, you know, French army pushing up here. The other French army, I don't know where it is, if it's advancing, if it's not. But this is very obviously where France has started hitting first. Look at the exchange of volleys here. Prussia not doing too bad though right now, holding their ground. They are firing. I mean, he has fallen back. You can see the dead littering the ground in this area. He's going to probably try to use the LOC to his advantage. France seemed to maybe take a bit of a hit. He's going to fall back, maybe reorganize. That's very wise of him, as there is a Prussian advance happening on the flank here. Probably going to try to use his artillery to force them back. They are turning. Yep, they are turning. We got more Bavarians rushing forward as he's forming up his line as quickly as possible. All the dust from all this infantry that's shifting into position now. I do believe this is Prussian cavalry, so I think he's going to try to make a play here. We'll see if he can. The French cav shifting back over. Do we have yeah, the archer fire, man. it's painful. So Sweden's gonna push up with me, and we are gonna form up in a line of battle. We do have the top of this hill. Not a lot of interesting stuff, yeah, guys, on this side. I mean, it took a long time to form up. Russia may be amazing, in my opinion, but they're a little slower. We do have artillery, some horse artillery, I believe, for Prussia pushing up here. Yeah, look at these stinking arrows just dropping in and killing. Prussia holding here. Not sure where France is planning on going. Oh, look at these Grens. The battlefield unfolding. All right, so we do see more French infantry. Oh, not French, Ottoman infantry, or Mamelukes, I think, actually. Do we have a huge cav charge here? And I send in my dragoons to maybe defend his skirmishers here, trying not to friendly charge them. I don't know if it saved him or not, but I managed to throw him in here. Some cav may have run. Yeah, we have France formed up over here. This is France, Italy. And the key with Italy is what I began to think is, okay, big units, beefy units, not the greatest morale, not the greatest melee. I was feeling a lot more confident. I was like, you know, if Sweden can hold their ground, I can swing on the flank. That's what we were talking about doing on this side, because we had quite a lot of French advancing towards us. Definitely a lot more troops than we have. Over here, things are not looking too hot. We have France advancing. Prussia is still fighting themselves. I mean, the HRE are just so far back. They are finally arriving here. Prussia's falling back. But Prussia is just outnumbered here. And with the Mamelukes just massing forward all of their infantry here, I'm surprised France didn't push this whole rank forward and help just crush France as quickly as possible. Or not France, but Prussia as quickly as possible. We do have some very long lines from France. I'm still forming up in lines of battle here. I have artillery. There is enemy cav, mostly dragoons. I wasn't too excited about that because I didn't bring a lot. I brought 3 cav total. I do have my heavies, though. My general nearby. I have light infantry. I think I shifted over my Ulan and my cavalry, my lancers, just because I did not want to, you know, be outnumbered. And I have my square bulls in the back. I brought 2 squares, so I had to use them very, very... I had to be very careful with them. I did send my dragoons in, trying to save this as France is getting very aggressive. It became very apparent that Prussia was going to take some hits. So basically it was trying to see if he can inflict enough losses here. Now he does have a beautiful counter charge volley here. As you can see, he has secondary lines waiting to pour in volleys on the French if they went in for bayonet charge on his lines, and boy, did it work out well. Russia's holding decently well. France seems to be still trying to form up here with the Mamelukes pushing up here. I think Prussia's about to get hit really hard. Still not sure why France isn't advancing here. Now we do have more Mamelukes advancing over this direction, as that's going to be a rough fight. To be sure, I do have my artillery set up, trying to fire at the cavalry as I set up in a formation of battle. As battle will be joined. Oh, look at the French. Or not the French. Man, my factions are all screwed up today, aren't they? Look at the Russians just pouring forward. A horde of them And France ready to receive that attack as we are going to go in. I mean, at this point, the momentum, this French flank could easily start swinging around and hitting us. I was really concerned about that. Ryan was trying to support me with his line, but I mean, we have to push immediately and take advantage, take the initiative here. Prussia's managed to shift his reserves over, but still a lot of enemies massing up on him. The HRE have finally made an appearance here, and he's going to be pushing on the French flank, but they're so slow, guys. And look how far away. They still have to march so far. They have not even been able to fight yet. And France is so much more mobile, and they're going to use that to their advantage here. Some Chasseurs Cheval on the flank, maybe trying to get a kill in or two. I mean, Prussia, say what you will, Prussia is inflicting some heavy losses on the French columns here. Look at these guys, though. They are inflicting heavy losses on the Prussians, too. Beautiful. And we do have the advance. The Mamluks pushing up here. Still, I think I finally got my skirmishers up. And oh, this is something else you can try. Use cav and skirms together. So you have, if you have your skirms placed just right, if you anticipate the cav charge, they can get a very deadly shot in. It gives a shock to morale, and then you slam your cav into the enemy cav, and you can break them. Now, he was falling back here as I'm advancing with my Russians and Prussians. There's some Prussians mixed in. There's a whole reason to that madness, some people may say, but I call it tactics, strategy, because they have such good reload skill. I think the reload skill is like 60s, 70s. It's really high. So they fire really fast, reload really fast, and that's ideal for a situation. I stick them on the flank to act as light infantry. You see Prussia falling back, but man, he actually, he's managed to shift his whole army over to this side. We have the chunky HRE now finally going to start making a dent potentially into the French flank, as they are going to keep trying to push this other flank. Yeah, they're going to push up here. Mamluks trying to push maybe the Prussian flank. We have a cav charge over here. Yes, we do. We had some of the heavy cavalry of the Mamelukes attacking some of the Saxon-looking cav. We have a potential flank here with some more cav in defense. If I'm remembering correctly, there is a cav charge. He charges in. I did form square, thankfully, so that really inflicted a lot of losses on his dragoons. At the same time, we're going to start getting into some volleys. He does have artillery set up way over here, which is going to really start hurting me, which is going to make me expedite things. I really need to get this going. My ally is trying to hold, but you can see massively outflanked. I think this player was newer, this French player, because, I mean, he could have exerted a lot of force here. If he had pushed this whole line up like this, he would have started breaking away the flank of Sweden, and Sweden couldn't have done anything to stop it. And now you see the HRE getting in the fight. These guys can hold for an eternity, but then again, so can these large units. So, you know, who will break first? We will see. But this flank is looking a lot more promising. Looks like France is actually slowly but surely shifting their forces in this direction. Oh, we have way more massive units. So way more reinforcements for the Imperials pushing up here. France still actually falling back. We have a lot more advantages on this side now. We do have the French dragoons. I really wanted to deal with this, and quite honestly, I am running away a little bit. I have a square right here. I'm trying to use my square. I am outnumbered, so I'm using squares, line infantry to kind of save my cav if I can. If they can hit a square and break, then it'd be beautiful. Look at this flank the Mamelukes have. Like, wow, they are really, they're forming up in massive line here. Prussia's looking pretty, I mean, he's holding. He's definitely holding, and France is falling back. Hold on, hold that thought. Do we have a cav charge? Not sure. But anyway, we are constantly pushing up here. I have exerted, basically, besides my reserves, I have put the full weight of my army in front. It's going to get pretty desperate here pretty soon if I don't do something now, because this fight is indecisive. Sweden is outnumbered, and his infantry are taking a pounding from the artillery on this hill. France really brought a good amount of artillery. You can see, thankfully, this hill is kind of ricocheting it up and defending side. I still have my heavies up here to kind of combat the French infantry, and this, guys, is just waiting to go off. I mean, everyone's just kind of, it's like the calm before the storm, as it were. Prussia's still firing. HRE is still pushing up here. Now, the Mamluks are in a very good position with the forest. I mean, they're going to have some good protection bullet-wise. Prussia's trying to meet this Mamluk flank. We have some cavalry charging in. That's going to go nowhere because the HRE have such massive, chunky lines. I am getting ready here to be locked in a fight for a very long time. He has some sappers kind of bravely standing on their own. This cav fight, though, I mean, he has a lot. He has dragoons here, more dragoons, and more dragoons. He has a lot of dragoons. I have a Swedish ally dragoon cav. I have my... No, that's two of the Swedish cav. I have my lancers, and that's it. My skirmishers are going to push up, hopefully get a shot off here. But here we go. The battle is being joined here. And it's all for all the marbles, guys. He is going to charge my skirmishers. This is what I was hoping that they would fire. I don't think they frickin' did. That's okay. That's okay. My skirmishers are firing over at that other side. I think he won over here because it was two Swedish versus one dragoon. Unfortunately, France didn't make a very effective charge. And we were able to beat him back. I'm going in with the bayonet charge here. I need to make some progress. So I'm going in. And unfortunately, they got a pretty good volley right before I hit them. So that's gonna really make some impacts. He did charge him with his sappers. That was a beautiful flank. Thankfully, I have a unit back here that's going to be shooting on the flank. I should be able to hold it. That unit broke.
Our men are running, sir.
But I sent in another one, guys. You can't stop. Oh, at this point, I was like, I can't stop. I have to keep pushing. And I think maybe one more unit with my guys still volleying here. Sappers broke, and boom, he starts breaking. And this is where the basically mass route can start. If you know how to play it right, you can make a mass route. So I'm going to start pushing there. France still not being super aggressive. I have missed a lot of this side. I'm sorry, guys. We have a big old cav fight over here. HRA pushing out, maybe going for a gen? Potentially. Oh, is he going for the back lines here of the Mamelukes? Oh, hello, buddy. Yeah, so maybe gonna get a mass route here if he can play his cav just right. Prussia still holding here. Oh wow, he's gotten separated. I've missed some stuff here, haven't I? There's so much happening. I know there's stuff happening on the other side as well. Prussia is kind of been separated. One side's been a little isolated. France pushing up there. Let's go back real fast over here where I have defeated France. So I did a mass route. Using a bayonet charge on this side and just basically pushing my lines up, volleying really close while he was turning to kind of trying to meet that charge. I do believe his cav went in for a charge on my line of tree, formed square, and defeated him. So now France... No, that's Mom's. In fact, I want you to bring it to her.
I'm bringing your coffee to you.
Alright. So, and shut the door, okay, buddy? Alright, so, yeah, you can see Prussia. Oh, man. Prussia getting hit really hard. I sent in my dragoons, I do believe, trying to help save Prussia from total disaster, because you can see they are, oh, yeah, just sent his dragoons in. Or dragoons. His grenadiers. He gets some grenadiers on both sides, potentially, I think. Trying to defend the HRE so the HRE can still keep shooting down. Man, he's taking some heavy losses, to be sure. Can he hold? Can he hold against this French push? Because France is just isolating this whole flank. And that's some French grenadiers against the Prussians. The old guard, or not the old guard, but the Imperial Guard on the flank here. I don't know if Prussia's going to make it. Prussia trying to save that side. I do have my cav, I think, pushing up here. We got to try to make a play and save this. So he's going to go with the cav charge here. Let's see if France can form some squares here. Oh, they do form some squares. That's going to hurt his heavies. Over on this side, you can see Prussia's holding quite well. HRE still firing, still standing strong. They have not quit. Over on this side, man, Mamluk's still standing. This is not going that well. Quite honestly, not going that well. Over on this side, France has started pushing the Swedish back. I have made a complete rout of the French, and now I am pushing up through the tree line. You can see there's some French units in the trees. So they are not gone yet. They have a lot of reserves over on this side. I broke half of the army, not all of it. So now I got to reform my lines. I got to push. At this point, this is the only flank that seems to be working. Everywhere else seems to be hitting stone walls. And the French have quite a lot of artillery and infantry left. And over here, man, they have cav massing up. Prussia, they are getting hit so hard by these grenadiers, and there's some cav desperation. Can Prussia hold this back? I do send in, I believe, my cavalry. Some dragoons. Unfortunately, I think they got a volley or two in their face, and that caused them to break, but that was just trying to maybe save Prussia or let Prussia capitalize on this. We'd have some more heavies charging against the French cav that's trying to really spearhead an attack against Prussia. We have HRE reserves pushing forward. They actually are the best ones to fight against the Mamelukes here. And their cav is, wow, with some grenadiers. They are caving the flank of the Mamelukes. So well done on their part. Over here, this is going to turn into a forest battle. We're pushing up here. I'm going to support Orion as Sweden. He is outnumbered here. France hasn't really attacked on this side. I don't know if they have probably other troops elsewhere. The Mamelukes haven't really pushed up on this side either. Surprised they haven't been very aggressive. France has definitely been very aggressive, and it's been telling, as Prussia's had some problems. Definitely had some problems. But it seems like they have recovered. And let's see how this fight's going. Those grenadiers look like they finally broke. Yeah, the Mamelukes are way back here. Still some HRE cav, thankfully. But yeah, guys, this fight, Prussia's almost gone. HRE is here. We need to keep pushing up here. Looking pretty good, quite honestly. I mean, the artillery, I think this is mine. Yeah, this is my artillery with my heavies, cav, and I'm chopping up the French line. That's the only thing that's going to maybe help us in this situation, although Sweden's really shooting them to pieces. We got some cav teleporting or levitating. Now they're going to go in for this line. I think he forms square. Oh, that's... what? That's a interesting tactic there, pushing through the square, but that's actually going to rout your own cav, so don't do it. It's an exploit, and also you will rout, because your units will just die. Your models will just die. Prussia's way back here, holding back any French attack, as France is going in for that flank. As artillery, HRE is still holding. but falling back. I don't think they like these odds. France, however, France is pretty bloodied. It seems like Prussia really beat the stuffing out of them. I unfortunately have to march through the forest here, which is going to take a long time. But things aren't looking too bad. Oh, never mind. Oh yeah, I remember now. Like French troops just again popping out of the woodwork. No pun intended. But yeah, the French started popping out of nowhere. I'm trying to form up my troops. I was thinking I can just cave in on the flank. But when you're in the forest, guys, you start moving pretty slow. My artillery, though, is just executing the French line that's standing. And once again, guys, the line's kind of staying stagnant. And I'm not slamming the player because everybody plays differently. But have one long stretched line actually is worse than trying to group them up in groups of 3s and 4s. I know I've said it before, and you're probably getting tired of hearing me say it in most of my videos. Group them up in a couple units at a time, kind of like what, I mean, the HRE are doing. They have like 2 here, 3, 1. Nothing wrong with doing that. The French, yeah, the French are I think the French are getting carried away here. They're chasing down the Prussians, trying to get some kills here. But the HRE and what's remaining of Prussia is actually reconsolidating. So they may want to shift their focus over to this side. Oh yes, I did go into the bayonet charge, I do believe. And you can see a lot of French troops made their appearance. We do have a cab charge here by Sweden. A counter charge by some hussars. We're trying to break them as quickly as possible because Prussia's basically gone and the French have quite a lot of troops. I'm really surprised they didn't attack right here. France, I think, could have been way more aggressive on this side in hindsight. I think there was still there's a French Dragoon unit back here too, which, as if it wasn't enough to have an ally that was destroyed, you know. You have cav in the back, so I couldn't push my heavy cav forward, and these guys haven't fought at all. They're ready to. They're itching for a fight. Oh no, I friendly fired the Swedish. I can't believe I did that. No, but France is still falling back, so I'm going to be able... Thankfully, they didn't stand their ground. I think if they stood their ground, they actually could have slaughtered me. Because it takes so long to move, I would have had to stand there and shoot. But then again, Sweden was advancing over on this side, so maybe we would have cut them off. Let's see how things are going over here. So... France forming up his men, so he didn't waste too much time. He or she, I actually can't remember. Yeah, so they're gonna form up, and they got a lot of troops they can shift over in our direction. The HRE, and like I said, there's some Prussian units left, still holding strong. Who knows where the Mamluks are at, but it's gonna give the coalition on this side a chance to rest. However heavily outnumbered they are, I think the Dragoons are gonna push up here. Here's some cav. Oh yeah, we had some enemy cav. Like all his cav came back. Thankfully, I have some skirms here, and he's stuck in the forest, which means I can shoot him with my skirms. We're issuing out here, and what am I pushing up? My light infantry and line infantry. Gonna push up here. I don't want to let the French get away, so I'm pushing up as quickly as possible. Just throw my troops forward to sloppy formations, to be honest. Oh yeah, the cav did charge my heavies. I did get a rout on them, so now I think I could free up my cav for some action in the front. But look at this. We have a little small contingent of Swedish troops here. Some more over here. Not a lot, though. And France is got a huge army still. Very deadly still. I'm surprised these French troops aren't pushing over to attack the HRE. If they do go for an LSC victory, I guess they could take this area. At this point, there's a point over here. There's a point back here, and they would win. But yeah, we're pushing up here. They do have artillery set up, so they are going to make their stand here. Artillery positions, guys, I would have pushed the French infantry forward a little bit so that there's no room for these guys to be in the front lines. Not a bad artillery position at all, though. And France should at some point probably make a stand. And still, France has so much infantry, they aren't really getting in the fight. We're only attacking a small portion of the line, which is intentional. You want to, if you can, only... You pick and choose. Be like, oh, I'm going to attack this section right here. And then you put all your infantry right there and fire. And if they try to wrap around you, you fall back or you push your reserves to meet them. You know, one or the other. But this fight is far from over and it is far from done. I did start getting a little too aggressive, maybe. Like I said, we're trying to form up our lines. I think we have a cav charge potentially. Going for the artillery position. You gotta wait until they fire a volley and then charge. This is for all the marbles, boys. We'll see if the artillery breaks. I don't think it did. But now his artillery is stuck there. So if we push up, we should do well here. We potentially have another fight here. HRH Cav in the forest still, trying to chop up the Mamelukes. And there's a lot of infantry in this forest, just stopping the HRE from advancing. More along here. The French are also advancing, probably going to try to make it push, I'm assuming. They are not going totally about this correctly, though, because they're letting the HRE, the coalition, just stand and shoot. That is exactly what they will do well at. Me, not so much. My Prussians, they'll fire fast. They'll do well. Everything else won't. We are starting to get really aggressive, though. In the center, you can see us starting to push up our reserve lines. I have my heavies pushing up. We are prepping for the big one, boys. This is it, and the heavies go in. There's a huge, vicious clash here in the center. And like I said, this is our big push. We did form some squares. I have some line infantry pushing up. Oh man, there's so much going on. There probably was some friendly fire, an accident. And this is going to be probably a little rough. I mean, these guys are getting some volleys pushed. I'm going to get my general pushed up, my heavies pushing up as well. Looks like he set some cav, charge him. I don't know if he's able to form some squares in time. This is just utter chaos on this side.
Our men are running, sir.
And yep, one of my line infantry breaks. I begin to think that this is it. I can't make it. My heavy cav is doing what they can, but they are, you know, it was vicious. But then we have some of the elites of Sweden charge again, trying to help break this. The infantry along the entire line. Artillery really focusing on the side that we're not attacking. And boom, another mass rout by France. And that was a huge play. So we had coordinated cavalry with some Russian line infantry and then some of the elite Swedish line infantry, and it did it. And now France is totally falling back, and the Mamluks are in danger of being sandwiched. In fact, it looks like they're getting really aggressive on the HRE. There is a French army pushing over to reinforce this side, though. So that victorious French army pushing up here. They are going to advance these masses of infantry. This is probably why that game was so laggy. There's just so much infantry on the battlefield. The HRE, Mamluks. I'm assuming they're Mamluks. I think they are. Feel bad if they aren't. I was calling them that. But this artillery is probably really helping slowly but surely whittle down the enemy. Yeah, we're gonna push up once more. Oh, is this some friendly cav?
The men are fatigued.
Oh no, that's my lancers. What were they doing? Maybe I was trying to go for a gen, potentially. Maybe, but that obviously didn't work out well. France is falling back. And they still got quite a massive force compared to us, so this is gonna be still rough. Still tough, and there's a French line still right here, so their center's a little weak. But we don't have a lot to throw in the center. They have artillery set up too that can turn around and face us. Let's see what's happening over here. At this point, this is where I think I began to actually study the field and figure out where we stood when it came to the battlefield. Like if we're winning, losing, because I didn't know yet. We were so focused on this side. I remember Prussia saying that they had basically died. Yeah, HRE holding strong. Look at this field of dead, though. Oh, wow. They are breaking. Minus these guys, everything else is breaking against that HRE and Prussian line infantry. Holding beautifully. Oh, we have a cav charge. Sending in his heavies. Trying to maybe mass route. I feel like if you get a mass route going with the Mameluke mob, basically, you could potentially win. But I mean, that's a lot of troops to break and kill. At this point, we are trying to chase down the French, and France is, of course, pushing directly over. Do we have some French cav? Yeah, some chasseurs cheval. I do have a couple line infantry trying to support my artillery. We have some French infantry way in the back. I think this is the French ally. I think he took this LOC and he's coming down behind us. So I form a square. He's cav trying to defend my infantry and artillery. And with the French army coming in behind us, we gotta double increase the pace of which we are attacking, because at this point it's getting messy with that French push behind us and potentially a French attack on the flank. But we do have a mass route here, or slowly but surely a mass route, as this cav is slowly but surely wearing away. And which means the HRE are going to be freed up to maybe push on the flank and help us, because otherwise it's not going to go very well for us. Unfortunately, France is just faster than I was, and he's creating distance that I can't close very easily. And we have enemies just clustering around the back. I mean, more and more French appearing here. I have two brave line infantry and some skirms in artillery. Actually, I think some of the Swedish troops as well. But we do have the Mameluke artillery. Getting one more volley off. Sweden engaging this French line. Finally, they're making their stand. France over here falling back. I was worried they were going over here to reinforce, as the HRE are pushing up here with Prussia. France has a small line with some artillery, so the HRE definitely could start advancing. We have to defeat this before this gets to us. Now, thankfully, I still had some squares, but oh, some old guard is going to charge in there. And quite honestly, it's going to be a mess. I have some skirmishers that are going to try to lessen the load here. We do have my heavies, though. No. Just line infantry charging once more. I am pushing up here on the French flank.
Our men are running, sir.
Yeah, this flank's gonna start caving quite rapidly. I'm sending more reinforcements, diverting troops. We gotta hold back this French attack. At the same time, really make it a decisive win here. Now, I do believe I start going in with bayonet charge. I hope I do. I'm right there. These are Prussians, but still. Come on, Kingston. Don't be a dummy. There we go. I'm going with the bayonet charge. We're trying to cave the French player as rapidly as possible. We have some dragoons going into the Valley of the Shadow of Death. I mean, they're gonna get shot to pieces here. More and more French, though. I was really surprised at how many troops they had left. And you can see we are holding with barely any troops. I think I get my artillery up. At this point, that's the only thing that's going to save us. Going with that bayonet charge. Probably going to send in the cav, I'd assume. We do have some Russian reinforcements. Hopefully going to cave in the French line. Oh, what a beautiful volley by Sweden.
The men are fatigued, sir, and must
This
rest.
cav has gotten so many kills. So we're starting to win. Definitely starting to win here, except for over here, where we're just trying to buy time, quite honestly. Enemy general has been slain. The Mamelukes general has been killed. That's a huge bonus for us. France is counterattacking us here. My heavies are exhausted. Unfortunately, the artillery got run down by dragoons. France charging in here. I'm gonna form. Thankfully, I have my squares over here. Maybe I can, you know, break the dragoons. But yeah, France is looking really strong here. His gen's nearby. Sweden, though, is, give props to him, because he basically sent his men in to die to protect my flank, to protect our rear, so we can make a push and reunite with our coalition allies, which means that we begin to have some wins. France is falling back. They do have the hill, the LLC, so, you know, places have switched. We are falling back, our troops, and high fallback. Oh man, look at the carnage here. The Swedish just shooting the French to pieces. Oh, France is charging the flank of Sweden. Sweden needs to pull their flank back. I'm putting some of my skirms over here to maybe fire in the flank and inflict some losses, cause the French to break. Because France could easily start mass routing the Swedish. I have some reserves here, mostly Russians and light infantry. Hopefully they can outshoot the French. Sweden has held. Beautiful flanking volley. If you can get a flanking volley like that, that will always help. And broke 3 grenadier units. Looks like France is in full retreat here. They do have some artillery left, but they are full on retreating up this hill. The levitating cavalry again. At this point, we begin to be like, okay, well, we need to consider LOCs. I mean, I actually got chewed up a little bit here. Right now, we don't actually have enough LOCs just because we have this LOC, but I think we needed this one and one extra one in order to win. I do remember the outcome of this battle, so no matter what, I don't remember the points necessarily, but I do remember it. So, this is a really strong French contingent. I think we have to fast forward though, because the only fighting now that's happening, France is retreating up to the LOC. We start falling back. France falling back to the LOC was, I knew exactly where he was going. I was like, oh, this is gonna turn into an LOC fight. Not my favorite way to end a fight. I like to just duke it out in the battlefield, but you know what? That's part of the game. LOC victory is actually part of the game. So, you know, if you can outwit the enemy, take an LOC and hold it till the end, then you win. Now, we're gonna push up here. I think I go in with a cav charge here. Try breaking more and more of the French, as many as possible. Yikes. But France is going to counterattack down the hill. Bavarians, not the greatest units, but they are a lot more of them than there are of me. So, you know, they're going to put up a very strong resistance. Still chasing the French back to that LOC. We do have some HRE troops, some cav. I think we had to have either this one and this one, or this one and this one, in order to win. Or if we had this one and this one, we would win, even if they had this one. Basically, we needed to take an LOC. We needed to take this one, or we need to take this one in order to win. And right now, they have both of them, so we have to hold both. You see, we are attacking uphill. My poor heavy cav is just getting shot by that flanking fire. We do have some Swedish troops pushing up the hill. The French at the top of the hill now. I don't know where he's going to. He should be helping his ally. Should definitely be helping the ally out. I have my light infantry, I think my general. No, this is the Swedish general. Well, we are, like I said, I'm hitting really, really tough resistance here. And I'm moving my troops a lot more than I should. But we have reinforcements coming. We can take this hill. We can win this. I think there's about 10 minutes to go in this battle. No, we have 7 minutes to go for this battle, basically. A little bit less, maybe. So I'm hoping maybe to take this LOC. I mean, I've broken this French army at least a couple times, but man, they're sending some real good volleys now. My guys are probably exhausted. My general is nearby to inspire the side because these are the stakes. We gotta make it. I'm sending some of my Prussians over to the side. I should have parked them right here and fired some volleys, but some friendly cav trying to maybe break the French. We need to make a win here. We have some HRE cav or infantry as well pushing up, but man, my guys are dropping pretty rapidly. Let's see how go with things up here. France constantly pushing forward. He still has some cavalry. So do I, but I guarantee you my cav's not as well rested. And France over on this side, I don't know where he's going to. Oh, he's going for the 4-pointer. There's 2 4-pointers too. Hold that thought, because I sent in some line infantry for a bayonet charge. This is shooting these guys and just dropping them so fast.
Our men are running for it.
That was bad. Yeah, we got some real problems here, to be sure. We are raking fast. France actually counterattacked, broke my troops on 2 sides. So my guys are barely holding it together. And we have to take an LOC in about 5 minutes. We have 5 minutes to take that LOC in order to win. On this side, France is just slowly but surely falling to pieces. My heavy cab went in, got broken by the Dragoons. Sweden is giving chase to the French, who are falling all the way back here. Look at this, they're not even concerned about the battle that's raging. Like, some Swedish troops on the horizon. We have plenty of troops on this side. I kind of wished that I'd sent more to this side because I only have 3 plus my gen. And you can't see the morale, guys, but the morale of this whole army kept wavering, but it kept not breaking. But this is for all the marbles at this point because we're going to lose unless we take this LOC. We see this one and this one to win, but we had to take it. And there's a whole French army in front of us. We don't have enough troops. It's very unfortunate. It's very disappointed. Oh, and the French general sitting right here. Trying to go for my gen, I think. I did not want to lose my gen at that point. France is basically gone. We captured this LOC, so we just have to take this one. This is the 4-pointer. France is going for the other 4-pointer. I'm remembering now. A 4-pointer way back here. A 4-pointer right here. We had this 1-pointer. We took this 1-pointer. So we just need to take this one in order to win. But we thought that France was probably going to make it to that 4-pointer before we did. And things are looking grim. We weren't too happy, you know? It's really disappointing when you lose the LOC at the very end after winning the battlefield. We have 2 minutes to go. Here I go with my Russian line infantry. I'm going in. I gotta send them in. I have to. And they broke. The first one broke. So I send in the next one. Going in. Come on, brave Russians. Make a dent. I'm pushing up line infantry. Another one of the French units broke. Still pushing up, still advancing. Another one broke. I send in my general. And there's one unit in the house here. And I charged the house and they mass routed. That one cheeky bayonet charge saved the day, guys. We took a 4-pointer, which meant it didn't matter about this other 4-pointer. We had won. We had taken, you know, 1, 2, you know, the 4, 5, 6, I should say. That's how you count. Yeah. And so we were able to clutch it out with like a minute to go. And we took this one too. That's like insult to injury. He threw his general in there, Ryan did. Wow. But yeah, that was the fight, guys. The final score. I do think he had his general dismount and charge me, so I go for a Gen v Gen charge to finish this up with about a minute to go. Never such a close fight. It was a crazy close fight. And man, it was... I was so disappointed until the very last minute when we actually took this 4-pointer, because I was gonna be like, okay, we had lost, you know, by LOC, but we managed to win the field and the LOC. And yeah, it was a good game, really hard fought. You can see losses were pretty heavy on both sides. I think I was going up against Welsh Blades, and I did that bayonet charge against France Flanders and was able to break him pretty fast. I know he's a newer player, at least at the time. He's gotten definitely a lot better. I know Welsh is watching in the comment section too, or he's in the comment section, I'm sure. You know, that's one thing to learn is you get better as you play. So, everybody played well. It was a good game. Really enjoyed it. Obviously, we got some really good kills. Let's see, who was my largest? Oh, my Cavalgard, 160 kills. Yeah, and I usually don't like bringing heavy cav, but C4 is not C1 or C2. I'll take C3 or C4 when I bring heavy cav, so they actually can still move around without being super slow. All right, well that is yeah, that's the battle. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for joining me. If you want to be a part of these, because these are, for the most part, I think I do a lot with just subscribers or people that I've met through NCW3. Just be around when I announce on my Discord, which links in the description. And you can join in for the streams and play in these 4v4s. So you guys have a great rest of your day. Stay safe, and I'll catch you all in another video.